सिंधु याधम जनार बंधु लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवन लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवन आहा प्रभु कर दया देह मोरे पद छाया आहा प्रभु कर दया देह मोरे पद छाया बेजाज गुसुक त्रिभुवन आए बेजाज गुसुक त्रिभुवन श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु शिल प्रभुपाद लोकेर जीवन शिल प्रभुपाद पतित पावन यहाँ प्रभु कर दया देह मोरे पद छाया यहाँ प्रभु कर दया देह मोरे पद छाया यहाँ प्रभु कर दया देह मोरे पद छाया आए बेजाज गुसुक त्रिभुवन आए बेजाज गुसुक त्रिभुवन शिल प्रभुपाद पतित पावन शिल प्रभुपाद पतित पावन जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जगत गुरु शिल 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 प्रभुपाद जय 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 प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Gaur Bhakta चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद शुद्ध भक्त चरण रेणु भजन अनुकूल शुद्ध भक्त चरण रेणु भजन अनुकूल भक्त सेवा परम सिद्धि प्रेम लती तार मूल भक्त सेवा परम सिद्धि प्रेम लती तार मूल माधवती भक्ति जननी जतन पालन कोरी माधवती भक्ति जननी जतन पालन कोरी बसती बोली परम आदरे गोरी कृष्ण बसती बोली परम आदरे गोरी सब स्थाने करल भ्रमण रंगे गौरयामार जे सब स्थाने करल भ्रमण रंगे सब तान हेरिब आमी प्रणयी भक्त संगे सब स्थान हेरिब आमी प्रणयी सत्संगे मृदंग वाद्य सुनिते मन अवसर सदा जाते मृदंग वाद्य सुनिते मन अवसर सदा जाते गौर विहिता कीर्तन सुनी आनंद हृदय नाचे गौर विहिता कीर्तन सुनी आनंद हृदय नाचे तुलसी देखी जुगल मूर्ति देखिया मोर परम आनंद हय जुगल मूर्ति देखिया मोर परम आनंद हय प्रसाद सेवा करिते हय सकल प्रपंच जय प्रसाद सेवा करिते हय सकल प्रपंच जय जेदिन गृहे भजन देखी गृहेते गोलक भाय जेदिन गृहे भजन देखी गृहेते गोलक भाय चरण सिद्धू देखिया गंगा सुख न सीमा पाय चरण सिद्धू देखिया गंगा सुख न सीमा पाय तुलसी देखी जुड़ाय प्राण माधव तो सुनी जानी तुलसी देखी जुड़ाय प्राण माधव तो सुनी जानी गौर प्रिय ठाक सेवने जीवन सार्थक माने गौर प्रिय ठाक सेवने जीवन सार्थक मानी। भक्ति विनोद कृष्ण भजने अनुकूल पाय जाहा। भक्ति विनोद कृष्ण भजने अनुकूल पाय जाहा। प्रति दिवसे परम सुखे स्वीकार कर ताहा। प्रति दिवसे परम सुखे स्वीकार कर ताहा। शुद्ध भक्त चरण रेणु भजन अनुकूल। भक्त सेवा परम सिद्धि प्रेमलतिकार मूल। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम, जय कृष्ण बलराम। जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय, जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे। जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे। जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद। Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Paramahansa Parivraj Kacharya Stotra Shri Shimare Si Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivraj Kacharya Stotra Shri Shimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Gauri Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Kunda Radha Kund Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Nuramanreti Dham Ki Jai. Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Nitai Go Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotee. All glories to the assembled devotee. All glories to the assembled devotee. All glories to Sri Sri Guru Gauranga. Ekadashi Vrata Ki Jai. So I'll read from Prabhupada Nectar. There was once a factory in India where all the workers were Hindus and mostly Vaishnavas. The Vaishnavas had freedom, therefore, to wear their Vaishnava tilak to work, and they also displayed other Vaishnava paraphernalia. But after some time, the factory went to new management, and then the proprietor was a Muslim. On taking over the business, the Muslim owner declared that he would not allow the workers to come to work anymore wearing Vaishnava tilak. Most of the workers obeyed, and on the given date announced by the owner, they appeared at the factory without their tilak. One employee, however, thought that he would take his chances and depend on Krishna. So he went to work wearing very clear white Vaishnava tilak. Sorry? You like that, okay. After seeing all the workers assembled, the new Muslim proprietor said, "This one devotee who has worn Vaishnava tilak is very courageous. He may be permitted to continue wearing the tilak to work, but all others are forbidden to wear it anymore." In this way, Prabhupada encouraged the devotees to not unnecessarily abandon the markings of a Vaishnava. Where situations forbid it, Prabhupada said that it was not absolutely necessary to wear tilak, although a devotee should at least put water tilak on his body in the morning and consecrate his body with the names of Vishnu. But if the paraphernalia is permitted, then a devotee should not unnecessarily do away with the dress or beads of a Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So today is Amalaki Vrata Ekadashi, and tomorrow the breaking of the fast is a little later. It's at 10:04. It's a very short window till 10:46. So tomorrow will be one of the irregular days for breaking Ekadashi. And Nagaraj Prabhu will give class today. There is big cleanup going on today at the temple right after class, right after prasadam at 9 o'clock. If you're listening and you have extra buckets at home and cleaning rags and so forth, you can please bring them also. And here are the devotees who assisted their guru in dressing the deities today. Sri Sri Radhe Shyam were dressed by Raghunath Prabhu, Chota Radhe Shyam by Mother Leela, Sri Sri Krishna Balaram, Ramanya Prabhu, Chota Krishna Balaram by Mother Rasa Manjari, Sri Sri Gaur Nitai, Mother Sarala, Chota Gaur Nitai, Mother Sri Vrindavan, and the Gurus and Lord Nrsimhadev by Rasa Rasika Devi Dasi. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Kura More Tuma Vina Ke Dayalu Jagata Samsari Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Kora More Tuma Vina Ke Dayalu Jagata Samsari Patita Pavana Hetu Tavaya Avatar Mosama Patita Prabhu Napaiveya Patita Pavana Hetu Tavaya Avatar Mosama Patita Prabhu Haibeya Ha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Kripa Balakana Koro Ami Boro Dukhi Ha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Kripa Balakana Koro Ame Bodo Dukhi Daya Koro Sitapati Advaita Gatsai Tava Kripa Bole Pai Chaitanya Nitai Sitapati Advaita Gatsai Tava Kripa Bole Pai Chaitanya Nitai Ha Swarup Sanatana Bhattaraguna Bhattarupa Jiva Prabhu Lokana Ha Swarup Sanatana Rupa Raguna Bhatta Juga Sri Jiva Prabhu Lokana Daya Koro Sri Acharya Prabhu Srinivas Ramchandra Sangha Mage Narottamodaya Daya Koro Sri Acharya Prabhu Srinivas Ramchandra Sangha Mage Narottamodaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Kora More Tuma Vina Ke Dayalu Jagata Samsari Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Kora More Tuma Vina Ke Dayalu Jagata Samsari Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajaka Acharya Stotarstu Shri Shimaresi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Kantaraj Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Nitai Go Premanande Hare. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotee. All glories to the assembled devotee. All glories to the assembled devotee. All glories to Sri Sri Guru Gauranga. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chukshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutade Swayam Rupa Kodamayam Dodati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Tam Sujivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Purijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitangscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakapatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Putitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Sounds a little South Indian. This. Oh, good, we're going to South India right now with Lord Chaitanya. So we're reading Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, Chapter 9, Lord Chaitanya's travels to the holy places. We're doing a whole bunch of verses today, 17 through 37. This first one we'll do together. The word meanings are Nrsimha Dekhiya. After seeing the Lord Nrsimha deity, Hare, unto him, Kaila did Nati Stuti, offering of various prayers, Siddhavata, to Siddhavat, Gela, he went, Yahan, where, Murti, the deity, Sitapati, Lord Ramchandra. Nrsimha Dekhiya Tare Kaila Nati Stuti Siddhavata Gela Yahan Murti Sitapati Nrsimha Dekhiya Tare Kaila Nati Stuti Siddhavata Gela Yari Yahan Murti Sitapati Nrsimha Dekhiya Tare Kaila Nati Stuti Siddhavata Gela Yahan Murti Sitapati Narasimha Dekiyatare Kailamati Stuti. Narasimha Dekiyatare Kailamati Stuti. Siddhavata Gelayan Murti Sitapati. Nirsinha Dekiyatare Kailamati Stuti. Siddhavata Gelayan Murti Sitapati. Ladies, Nirsinha Dekiyatare Kailamati Stuti. Siddhavata Gelayan Murti Sitapati. Translation. After seeing the Ahobala Nrsimha deity, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered many prayers unto the Lord. He then went to Siddhavat, where he saw the deity of Ramchandra, the Lord of Sita Devi. Purport. This Siddhavata is 10 miles east of the village Kodapada, or Kodapa. It is also known as Siddhauta. Previously, this place was also known as Southern Benares. There's a great banyan tree there, and it is therefore known as Siddhavat. Vata means banyan tree. So this area we're in right now is in Andhra Pradesh, west of Chennai, that southern part of India, on the banks of the Pennar River. I was looking it up on the internet. It was a little hard to find because these are small places. I looked for Southern Benares, and that's how I was able to find it. Next verse, we can chant together. Raghunatha Deki Kaila Pranati Stavana Tanika Vipra Pabur Kaila Nirmantrana. After seeing the deity of Lord Ramchandra, the descendant of King Raghu, the Lord offered his prayers and obeisances. Then a Brahmin invited the Lord to take lunch. Se Vipra Rama Nama Nirantara Laya Rama Rama Vina Anya Vanignathaya. That Brahmana constantly chanted the holy name of Ramachandra. Indeed, but for chanting Lord Ramachandra's holy name, that Brahmana did not speak a word. Se dina tarag hare rahi bhiksha kare tare kripa kare age chalila gaura hari. That day, Lord Chaitanya remained there and accepted prasad at his house. After bestowing mercy upon him in this way, the Lord proceeded ahead. Skanda kshetra tirte kaila skanda darashana trimata ila tahan deki trivakrama. At the holy place known as Skanda Kshetra, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited the temple of Skanda. From there he went to Trimata, where he saw the Vishnu deity Trivikrama. Puna Siravata Aila Sevipra Gare Sevipra Krishna Namalaya Nirantare. After visiting the temple of Trivikram, the Lord returned to Siddhavat, where he again visited the house of the Brahmana, who was now constantly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Bhiksha kare Mahaprabhu tare prashna kaila kaha vipraeto markondashahila. After finishing his lunch there, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked the Brahmana, "My dear friend, kindly tell me what your position is now." Purve tumi nirantara laite Ramanama ebe kene nirantara lo Krishna nama. Formerly, you were constantly chanting the holy name of Lord Ram. Why are you now constantly chanting the holy name of Krishna? Vipra bhale tomara darshana prabhave tomadeki gela mora ajanma swabhave. The Brahmana replied, "This is all due to your influence, sir. After seeing you, I have lost the long practice of my life." Bhaya buddhi rama nama grahana amara tomadeki Krishna nama aila eka bhara. From my childhood I have been chanting the holy name of Lord Ramachandra, but after seeing you I began to chant the holy name of Lord Krishna. Sehaite Krishna nama jivate vasila Krishna nama spure Rama nama dure gela. Since then, the holy name of Lord Krishna has been tied to my tongue. Indeed, when I chant the holy name of Krishna, the holy name of Lord Ramchandra goes far away. Balyakala haite mora svabhava ekahaya namera mahima shastra kariye sanjaya. From my childhood I have been practicing this chanting and I have been collecting the glories of the holy name from revealed scriptures. Ramante yogino nante satyanande chiratmani iti rama padena sa param brahma bhidiyate. That supreme absolute truth is called Rama, because the transcendentalists take pleasure in the unlimited true pleasure of spiritual existence. Purport. This is the 8th verse of the Shatanam Stotra of Lord Ramchandra, which is found in the Padma Purana. Krishibu vachaka shabdo nascha nibriti vachaka tairoraikyam param brahma Krishna itya bhidiyate. The word Krish is the attractive feature of the Lord's existence, and na means spiritual pleasure. When the verb Krish is added to the affix na, it becomes Krishna, which indicates the absolute truth. Purport, this is a verse from the Udyoga Parva, 71.4 of the Mahabharata. Param Brahma Dvi Nama Samana Haila Huna Ara Shastri Kichu Vishesha Paila. As far as the holy names of Ram and Krishna are concerned, they are on an equal level. But for further advancement, we receive some specific information from revealed scriptures. Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasra Nama Bistuyam Rama Nama Varanane. Lord Shiva addressed his wife Durga as Varanana and explained, "I chant the holy name of Rama, 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 and thus enjoy this beautiful sound. This holy name of Ramachandra is equal to 1,000 holy names of Lord Vishnu." Purport. This is a verse from the Brihat Vishnu Sahasranam Stotra, 72.335, in the Uttarakhanda of the Padma Purana. Sahasranam nam punyanam triravritya tu yat phalam ekavritya tu krishnasya namayakam tat prayachyati. The pious results derived from chanting the holy names of Vishnu 3 times can be attained by only 1 repetition of the holy name of Krishna. Purport. This verse from the Brahmanda Purana is found in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita 1.354 by Rupa Goswami. For every 3 times one chants the holy name of Rama, one attains the same results simply by chanting the name of Krishna once. Evakye Krishna namera mahima apara. Whoops, got the wrong melody here. Evakye Krishna namera mahima apara tatapi laite narishu nahetu tara. According to the statement of the Shastras, the glories of the holy name of Krishna are unlimited. Still, I could not chant his holy name. Please hear the reason for this. Ishtadeva Rama Taraname Sukapaya Sukapana Rama Nama Ratri Dina Gaya. My worshipable Lord has been Lord Ramachandra, and by chanting his holy name, I received happiness. Because I received such happiness, I chanted the holy name of Lord Rama day and night. Tumara darshane yabe Krishna nama aila, tahara mahima tobe hridaya lagila. By your appearance, Lord Krishna's holy name also appeared, and at that time, the glories of Krishna's name awoke in my heart. And this is the final verse. Se Krishna tumi sakshat iha nirdharila, eta kahe vipra prabhura charane padila. The Brahmin concluded, Sir, you are that Lord Krishna himself. This is my ascertainment. Saying this, the Brahmin fell down at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Interesting pastime. I don't know what it means, but it's an interesting pastime. Now this begins here, the transition is from the previous verse. Lord Chaitanya visited Ahovalam. The text 16 was, there he saw Lord Mahadev, that's a different one, the servant of Lord Ram. He then went to Ahovala Nrsimha. After seeing the Ahovala Nrsimha deity, the Lord offered prayers and went to Siddhabhat. So there's really nothing, Prabhupada doesn't say anything here about Ahovala Nrsimha, but it's kind of a popular place for us. Devotees know about Ahovalam. We've had a couple of articles in BTG about it, and Jujuna Swami wrote one. And then our Dhruva, son of Dharmatma and Dvijapriya, he wrote an article in BTG 2001. He had read the earlier article by Indrujumna Swami, was inspired, because he's been a Nrsimha Bhakta his whole life. So he was inspired to go to Ahovalam. So he went there 2001, so he was a pretty young man then. And then he wrote a BTG article about it. So at Ahovalam Nrsimha, it's a really remote place in South India, just a really tiny town, one street. But there are 9 major, actually I think there are 10 temples, but it's known as 9 Nrsimha temples. It's dotted here and there in the mountains. It's jungle there. There's tigers and bears and everything, and wild cobras and you name it, it's there. So when he went, it's becoming more popular now. Actually, they probably have tour guides. When he went, somehow, when Dhruva went, he found someone to take him around. So he went, and in one day, he had to walk and walk and walk and visit all these different Nrsimha deities. So some of them are extremely old. There's one, he's been worshipped for so long, his face is practically worn out from all the abhisheks. It's always something that we wonder about, why there's not much archaeological evidence for our Vedic culture, Krishna culture. Like in Egypt, they had the pilgrims, and the pyramids, so you can't deny them. There they are, sticking up. Actually, I did a little research on ancient archaeology. What happened was I was watching a video by Judakarma Prabhu, ancient human. And then on the side, if you go on YouTube, they get all these things to entice you to look, into something else. So I saw these different videos on different ancient places. So I started looking at some of these. I dabbled in it a little bit. Not something to spend your life on, but I did spend a little time. It's quite interesting, actually, that there's actually a lot of evidence for ancient man-made things, artifacts, they say. An artifact means you can see that it's made by some kind of human or alien or some, not naturally made by a river or glacier or something. So things like the pyramids, no one will deny that these stones just fell together there in some natural way. Someone had to build them. And what I discovered was that there's no way to explain how they were built according to even modern, our advanced construction technology. They couldn't build the pyramids. They don't have the equipment to do it, even today, because the stones are so huge. Here and other places, that's one thing you find, that all over the world, There are these structures that are made of huge stones weighing hundreds, sometimes 1,000 tons. Like you can't get enough, little guys around it to lift the thing. And there are no cranes today that can come any place close to lifting these things. So, of course, the scientists and the doubters, they all try to debunk these things. And then you have the debunkers of the debunkers, and these arguments go on. But it seems pretty obvious that somehow or other, a long time ago, somebody built these things. So it pushes a history way back. One thing I came across was the Sphinx. Now, modern archaeologists, they rate the Sphinx they age it at something like 2,500 years ago. It was supposedly built. But geologists say, their expertise is in stone and what happens to stone and how it erodes and things like that. And they say that the erosion of the Sphinx was not caused by the wind, it was caused by rain. And it hasn't been rain there for at least 35,000 years. So the archaeologists, they say, no, that can't be, that's impossible, because our theory says that's impossible, so it's impossible, you must be wrong. But the scientific experts say, no, we're right. This was rain falling that caused this to look like that. So you find all these kinds of things. So there are pyramids all over the world. What they're doing there's all kinds of speculation. Maybe they were guidance for alien invasions or something. I don't know. There's all kinds of ideas what they're there for. One thing I found interesting is there aren't any in India. They're in South America. They're all over. I think there may be some in North America. I'm not sure. But all over the world, in Europe, and of course in the Middle East, there's pyramids all over the place. And a lot of them have certain geometric alignments. They line up with each other. But there aren't any in India for some reason. I don't know. Maybe the Brahmins kept all the aliens out or something. I don't know. But there is this kind of archaeological evidence all over the world for ancient civilizations. We don't see much of it in India, but we can say, well, we know at least from our scriptures that for a long time, saintly persons have been visiting deities in temples in India. We hear Lord Chaitanya here is visiting South India and visiting these old deities. But these deities were old when Lord Balaram went on pilgrimage 5,000 years ago. And when Vidura went on pilgrimage, these places were already there. Many of these places have been existing who knows how long. It's like here we're hearing about this Brahmin, he's worshiping Lord Ramchandra. So, most likely there have been deities of Lord Ramchandra for a very, very long time, probably since he appeared here. We tend to speak of, when we speak of Lord Ramchandra, devotees tend to think of, well, he was here in Treta Yuga. So he did appear in Treta Yuga. But it wasn't this Treta Yuga that he appeared. He appeared in either 2 or 3, I forget. This is explained in Laghu Bhagavatamrita by Rupa Goswami. We're in now the 28th Chatur Yuga, I think, of this particular period. And Lord Ram appeared, I think it's in the 25th, either the 25th or the 26th. So I did a quick calculation in my head once. It's something like 10 million years ago. Lord Ramchandra was here. When I think of that, one thing that comes to mind is, well, it's really amazing that we still have the Ramayana around. 10 million years later, that means it survived the end of Kali, through a couple of 2 or 3 Kali Yugas, and the devastation. There's some kind of devastation that takes place, partial devastation at the end of Kali Yuga. Everything is revived again in Satya Yuga, and we go through these periods. So, for at least 2 or 3 of these cycles of the Yugas, the Ramayana is still present. Now, one explanation for that is Gopi Puranadana Prabhu explains in the commentary of the Tattva Sandarbha, which is Sanatana Goswami's own commentary, that everything is always existing. The Vedas are always existing. That means the Ramayana is always existing also in some unmanifest form. Just like Krishna, he has his prakat and aprakat lila. So his aprakat lila is not visible to us, and sometimes he makes it visible. He comes out of the closet, shows himself. So similarly, the Vedas are like that also. They appear to have a certain history, but they're always there, present. And there are always great, pure souls, rishis, the Vedas, for example.
they're seen by the rishis. They're called seers. Why are they called seers? Because they see beyond what we can see. They can see into the other realm, and they can read or hear these eternally present sounds. Even in our Bhagavatam, of course, we have the prayers by the personified Vedas. So these personified Vedas, the Shruti Gana, they're called, they're always existing, they're eternal. They coexist eternally, just as we're eternal, we're jivas, we live eternal, we exist eternally. Krishna is the origin of everything, but still everything exists simultaneously, eternally. Just like you can't have the sun without the sunshine, so you can't have Krishna without his energies. They're eternal. So these Shrutis are also eternal. So the Lord is eternal. The Lord Ramchandra is certainly eternal. That means that Ramayana is certainly eternal. So it exists somewhere in the spiritual realm, and those who have the vision, they can see and they can read and recite and rejuvenate the Ramayana, Ram Katha, bring it back into society, even though it may seem to have disappeared in written form. So that's one explanation of how this could happen, that even though Ram was here 10 million years ago, still today we have Ram Katha. So getting back to Lord Nrsimha, so there are these, in Ahobalam, though this is, I was saying, this is a very ancient place. The deities are very old. Now this Ahobalam is said to be, I'm always a little wary when I hear this, is said to be, but in other words, you can't really find it in the Vishnu Purana or something. You find it in the Stala Purana. Stala Purana, Stala means the place. So every place has its local Puranas, or history. Purana means history. Just like in Puri, there's a Stala Purana that has so many histories of miracles by Lord Jagannath and great devotees of Lord Jagannath, pastimes of Lord Jagannath. So similarly in the Stala Purana for Ahobalam, you'll find histories of these different deities. So sometimes they're named and there are different pastimes, and one of the main thing about this, the purport of this Stala Purana is that this is actually the place where Lord Nrsimhadev appeared. That's what it is said. And there's one stone that sticks way up high in the air. Cliff is said to be the remains of the column that he burst out from. Of course, now it's like it's a mountain, basically. You have to hike all the way up to get all the way up there to the top of it. And then you can see all over the place. So Lord Chaitanya visited this place. At least we know that much. And there are different stories told about the different deities. They have different names, different forms. Of course, Nrsimhadev, he appears in different forms, or appears in deity form in different forms. There's one form, there are a couple of the deities. There's actually a video of this too, which I discovered. Nrsimhananda Prabhu, Nrsimha Ananda, he did a video of Ahobalam. In fact, he starts off in the video, he's reading Back to God. He gets his Back to Godhead from his mailbox, and he sees the article by Dhruva, and he gets inspired. He says, oh, I should go there too. And usually I just sit around here in my pyramid house in Topanga Canyon. I'd like to go. So somehow he contacts Dhruva and Yadubar Prabhu. Yadubar Prabhu actually filmed him. So he went there in Dhruva. So there's footage of Dhruva visiting all these places, showing the Nrsimhananda around, and Yadubar Prabhu is filming it. Actually, at the beginning, there's a little aside here, but before they get to that place, Dhruva, because he's such a Nrsimha Bhakta, he's always looking for new Nrsimha deities. So he discovered this one Nrsimha deity, where to get to it, you have to walk through water, like up to your waist or your chest, inside a dark black cave, pitch black, no light whatsoever. Way in the back of this cave is the deity. You have to walk through this water, and the ceiling is covered completely with bats. And you know bats, how they excrete, it comes from their mouth. So they hang upside down, and it just falls into the water. So that's what they were walking through to get to this deity. So they have footage of this. And they get to the back of the cave, and someone is getting married there. It wasn't a big wedding party, I'll tell you that. I think it was just the new bride and groom and maybe one other person. The priest is performing the puja. They were just there with one little candle or something. And the Nrsimhananda comes in with his lights, camera, lighting up the place, which the bats didn't like very much. So this ancient deity, the priest is splashing water. He's doing abhishek to the deity as the ceremony. And after, you see the bride and groom walking through the water out of there. You know, they're leaving for their honeymoon. So, of course, all these places, they had the local bhaktas, and sometimes the families have been worshiping for many generations. So there's a Nrsimha deity in Ahobalam. There are a couple of them that have Hiranyakashipu on his lap. So one is said to be that, actually, I forget, there was one sage, I forget who it was. One of the deities is called Bhargava Nrsimha. Bhargava is Parashuram, because Parashuram performed meditation there and performed austerities there. And he wanted to see Lord Nrsimha, so Nrsimha appeared to him. But I think maybe it's a different sage, that he wanted to see the Lord's form too, and the Lord showed him the form of what he looked like just when he came out of the pillar and had just before he split open Hiranyakashipu. And Prahlad is there offering his pranams to Lord Nrsimhadev. So you have Ugra Nrsimha. Ugra means ferocious, horrible looking, scary, when he's going to tear apart. So you have some Ugra Nrsimha deities where he's very fierce. I think our Mayapur deity is Ugra Nrsimha, right? So very fierce. He's so ecstatic. The Mayapur Nrsimha, he's awesome. So then there's I don't know what he's called, but when he's Shanti, when he's more relaxed and peaceful, after Prahlad calms him down. You know the story in the Bhagavatam. All the demigods are offering their prayers, but he was still, he's called Dwala Nrsimha too. Dwala means fire, so it's like burning with fire. Actually, in Dhruva's story, when he talks about going there was fire in the jungle, burning. And the locals say there's fires there. A lot of time there's forest fires there because Nrsimha is still so hot. Some of his deities are still burning up the place. So there are deities that show a different kind of fierce form, and then there's more relaxed, peaceful. Then the Yoga Nrsimha, maybe that's the Yoga Nrsimha deity, where he's sitting in yoga posture, and he's in meditation, or at least in a Shanti, peaceful position. So Lord Chaitanya went there, and of course, Lord Balaram went there, and Vidur went there, and people have been going to visit these deities for thousands, millions of years. So this is our archaeological evidence. The deities themselves have been existing for such a long time. And the lineage, it goes back into the remote past. It's untraceable how old, for how long these deities have been worshipped. So that's Nrsimha. And then we hear this pastime. It's kind of late now, but what I said was I can't explain it because this was his Ishta Devata, Lord Ramchandra. This Brahmana was worshipping Lord Ram. So somehow Lord Chaitanya converted him into a Krishna Bhakta. Sounds a little unusual because his whole life, just imagine, that's all he did. His whole life was chant Ram, 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 Ram. And said he didn't even say anything else. Doesn't it say in the, I was trying to remember, in the cleansed Gundicha temple, I think it's described there, the devotees would just communicate by saying the name, Krishna's name. Instead of saying, give me a cleaning rag, you say, Krishna, Krishna, or Ram, Ram, Krishna, Ram. Yeah, do it sign language. I know we used to do it that way in another temple I was at. We would just say Krishna's name during the whole cleaning, Gundicha, before Rath Yatra. So this Brahmin, all his life, he was chanting Lord Ram's name. Then he met Lord Chaitanya, and they started saying Krishna. Now, Srila Prabhupada, in his translation, he says, I had been chanting, he says, now I am also chanting Krishna's name. But I think in the verse of the purport it says, now I can't, oh yes, it says that Ram's name has gone far away. Dure Gela, Rama Nama Dure Gela. Now I can't even chant Ram's name anymore. Of course, we wonder, well, why can't he chant the Maha Mantra? He could chant them both at the same time. So it's a little hard to understand when you really start thinking about what's going on here. It's hard to understand. Of course, the main lesson, I think why Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is explaining this is he's showing that Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself. And he has that power to make anyone, even a Ram Bhakta, into a Krishna Bhakta. What to speak of anybody else? Even someone whose heart is completely sold out to Lord Ram can be turned into a Krishna Bhakta by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So maybe, the fact that he changed his rasa or something may not exactly be the point here. The point is the power of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to induce Krishna Bhakti. Now the other thing is, of course, there's no difference between Lord Ram and Lord Krishna. If you're a Krishna Bhakta, you're also a Ram Bhakta, because within Krishna is everyone. Everyone is within Krishna. When you worship Krishna, then you're worshiping everyone simultaneously. But somehow his mood was changed by the power of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And of course, we have these verses here that describe how Krishna is greater. 3 names of Ram equal 1 name of Krishna. So we can take this, maybe not literally exactly, although of course it's literally there in the Shastra, but the idea is there that Krishna is, even though there are so many Vishnu Tattva forms of the Lord, Krishna is still the highest or the original. So everyone is, in a sense, not less exactly, but Krishna is still the original. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So that's another lesson that we can take from this pastime of this Brahmana and the transformation by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I'll stop here. Anybody have any questions or comments or archaeological commentary? Ramanya Prabhu?
There's very ancient temples in India, like in Orissa, Jagannath Puri. Nobody knows how old is that temple. You remember the last time? Kini Indradyumna.
Yeah.
And Tirupati also is from different yugas. So
sometimes they know when the temple was built, the most recent one.
Sometimes we know that one.
Often they find that there are layers and layers underneath.
Yeah. So anyway, I have a friend in Mexico City. He graduated from, he's a geologist. So he went to the temple and I saw him. And I said, how you got in contact with the Hare Krishna movement? He said, I was in the university and I asked my professor, a geologist professor, where would I find the ancient stone or rock? Where can I find it? He said, I don't know, but you have to go to the Hare Krishna temple. They have ancient books. They will tell you that. So he went to the temple with Prashad and he became a devotee. So. But he has PhD in geology, like that. So we have ancient temples in India. The only thing is distortion of the history. Archaeologists, they distort the history, mostly to Western history. But actually in India, ancient culture, goes beyond, And then we have to remember how Mongols, they destroyed a lot of temples.
Yeah.
And the British too.
There's some things they couldn't destroy. One thing that India has is rock temples. The temples are carved out of solid rock. Sometimes there's one that's carved from the top, at least appears. So you have you have everything that's a temple, but imagine trying to build a temple by chipping away rock. You have the whole space inside and all the carvings on the walls and all the columns, and it's just, how can anybody do such a thing? It has to be some kind of mystic power. Actually, in Judakarma Prabhu's book, Searching for Vedic India, he describes it in Tibet in I think it was the 1930s. Some Western traveler was there and documented seeing Buddhist monks by mantra levitating stones up the side of a cliff because they were trying to build something up on this cliff. And this person actually observed this. This was less than 100 years ago. So the power of mantra, we know the power of sound, because everything is energy and vibrational, and we don't know a lot about these things, but if you know how to manipulate these things, like the yogis, they have different powers, they can do so many different things. So you learn how, even our bodies, what are they? They're mostly space and energy, vibrations, subatomic particles are vibrating. So if you can master the art of vibrational energy, You do amazing things that seem to defy science, and they do defy what science understands. So these incredible things are there, anomalous archaeological thing. There's one in the Mahabalipuram, or Mamalapuram they call it now. It's south of Chennai. There are different cliff or carvings or stone carvings. There's some that are like bas-reliefs, and then they're called the chariots of the Pandavas. And then there's this, it's a tank, it tends to have water in it, but it's perfectly cut out of stone. There's just no way you could do it with an ordinary chisel. That's one of the challenges that archaeologists have, that a lot of these cuttings that are done, they're so precise, and they look like they were done with some high-speed ultrasonic drills or saws and these kinds of things. But they're thousands and thousands of years old, so they can't be explained. So these things are, of course, they're not directly about Krishna consciousness, but they do indicate that science is missing a lot and just ignoring things. What they tend to do, if they don't agree with it, they just ignore it. They say, it just can't be. Something's wrong. It just can't be because this is the theory. We have this theory, so it just can't be. Our response is, well, that's not real science. Science is to try to understand, to try to know. Use every tool available. And one of the tools is the ancient writings that describe these things. All right, we'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.